Welcome to POSTCAST after a great Jazz win over the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. David Locke along with Ron Boone. Thank you for joining us. That was a lot of fun. It was also one of the more bizarre nights. It felt like maybe everybody had been out for a long night of St. Patty's Day before they got here, including the officials. And various. No, I'm not saying that. It was just a bizarre night. Marc Gasol's fouling guys with a shoe, and Marc Gasol's putting an official into the third row on falling over him and then not getting him. It was a bizarre night tonight.
We definitely saw a little bit of everything. I mean, you could see the temper starting to flare out there as well there for a little bit, and some very hard fouls, but some defensive play, I think, on both sides of the basketball that was very impressive.
So the Jazz defense was good in the first half. They held the Grizzlies to 46% shooting. Actually, let me rephrase that. The Jazz defense was good till about the 5-minute mark of the second quarter. They allowed 29 points up to that point and then promptly allowed 16 in the final 5 minutes of the second quarter and fell behind 50-45. But one of the major problems is they had allowed 9 offensive rebounds in that first half. They allowed 2 in the entire second half. And maybe the most noticeable change to me was how much the guards got involved. Gordon Hayward, Randy Foye knocks a huge rebound away. We've talked all year long on those close losses that every play matters, and it sounds like a broken record, but you go to Randy Foye keeping 1 rebound away from Tony Allen, it changes the game tonight. Mo was a little bit involved in the rebound. Gordon ended up with 8 defensive rebounds tonight.
Well, and that tied his season high of 8. But, David, if we can go back to that first quarter, because I thought Al Jefferson's defense there and the way he played defense, I mean, he was challenging guys out on the perimeter 20 feet away from the basket, diving on the floor, and I just thought the rest of the team picked up on that, and they start getting involved there as well.
And
but
maybe, let me jump in, because maybe most importantly, the 2 previous possessions that he had allowed Marc Gasol a wide-open 16-footer and Zach Randolph a wide-open 16-footer, and they both nailed them, and it was at that point that Al said, okay, those were unacceptable. I'm going to fix this, and he went out and made that play you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly, and that was very, very impressive, and I thought the rest of the team started to pick up on that and started getting after the Grizzlies. Now, if we could talk about the Grizzlies here for a moment, because this is a team that wins off of their defense, and you saw how aggressive and how they can take you out of your offense, late in the fourth quarter when things got tight and they were desperate for points, and the defense picked up and caused the Jazz to use the shot clock and maybe rush a few shots. But the Jazz defense, I thought, ended up winning this basketball game. Why? Because the Grizzlies are not very good on the offensive end. I mean, they only shoot 44%. So if the Jazz match them defensively, and then the Jazz offense is a little bit better than theirs, and they end up winning the basketball game.
Jazz do it in the third quarter. They hold them to 9 points in that quarter, 2 of 16 shooting. Those are both season bests for the Utah Jazz. And then they made enough plays late. The offense kind of disappears. They only have 2 field goals in the final 4 minutes. The Grizzlies do amp it up, but I thought maybe it's playing at home. I saw a little less panic than I saw in Cleveland, a little less panic than I saw in Milwaukee, and a little less panic than I saw in Chicago.
A couple of mistakes the Jazz did make in the closing minutes. It kind of reminds you of that 4-game losing streak. But, for the most part, they did make some bigger plays there. They ended up winning the game. One of the key stats or statistics that the Grizzlies do well is offensive rebounds. They had 9 early, as you just mentioned. I think they had 13. I'm not sure.
They only had 2 in the second half.
Two in the second half. Well, for the game, I think they only had
11.
But they had 13 second chance points, and this is at the half they had 13, and that was 16 for the game. So I thought that was one of the most key stats that for the night, for the ball game, because they're so good on the offensive glass and getting second chance.
Some
points.
of that is that with 6 minutes left, our old friend returned. The big lineup, Paul Millsap at the 3, but maybe at least statistically much more importantly than what they did tonight with the big lineup with Millsap at the 3, Favors the 4, and Jefferson the 5, was Hayward at the 2. If you go back when that lineup has worked, Hayward has been at the 2. When it has failed, Foye has been at the 2. Coach Phil talked about that it allows another ball handler, it allows a playmaker. You don't suddenly rely on Paul. I wonder why that came back tonight. I will not know, but it did do pretty well, and it does exactly what you're talking about. It's unbelievable on the board.
And you can see that Corbin has a lot of confidence in Gordon offensively and defensively because Bayless was going crazy, and I think he thought he needed someone that was that could stick with him, someone that could challenge his shot, and someone that could probably put a little more offensive pressure on him on their defensive end of the floor. But it was a necessary basketball game. The Jazz now survive, and they still stay a half a game behind the Los Angeles Lakers for that eighth spot.
Gordon, when he was starting in the past, was completely uninvolved in the game, and that's why he went to the bench. Tonight he starts. He leads the team in points, rebounds, second assists, leads the team in minutes played. Why was he more successful tonight in the starting lineup than he was in the past?
I think coming off the bench has helped him get more engaged and every possession that he touches the basketball on the offensive end is very valuable. And he didn't panic as far as, when I'm going to get shots, when I'm not going to get shots. He let the game come to him. I think in that first half, if I remember correctly, he only had mostly free throws in the ball game. I'm not sure. I can't remember what he had at the half. What did he have at the half?
He had 9 at the half. He had nothing in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Nothing in the second half till the fourth quarter.
And so the things come to life there in the fourth quarter. And the great thing about that, David, is that someone's going to have a good quarter for the Jazz, and he ended up having a very good second half.
So the Jazz win it tonight, 90-84. It's the first of what is going to feel like many nights where if they don't win, you think it's over.
Yeah.
Monday is probably the next one, and then Wednesday's the next one after that. They really kind of have to win all of these games here. If they can win those 3, then you probably get a little wiggle room in San Antonio and Dallas, but you've got some big games coming up that you're simply going to have to win, and tonight, frankly, was one of them. You had to win at home. You probably have to win every single one of your home games the rest of the way, including Oklahoma City. So come out and support them, create the atmosphere. The fans reacted to the energy tonight. The Jazz were an easier team to root for tonight, frankly, than they have been in some of the past nights. The energy was pretty fabulous. On behalf of Ron, I'm David. Jazz win it 90-84. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night and be safe.